by no means least, for your best man, John.
Hello. Do you think I should use the microphone or? Yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lewey, and I am the best man for this day event. I would like to start by addressing two very important people here today, obviously without whom none of this would have been possible. And the great thing is, you know, as this evening goes on, we'll get to spend some time with them, drinking, sharing their company. But anyway, enough about the bar stuff. Let's get on with these two. Right, now I'm sure you will agree with me that Kate is looking absolutely gorgeous today. I'm sure there's a few guys in the audience right now thinking, how did this one slip through the net? Yeah. Dean, you are a lucky guy. As for the ladies in the audience, I'm sure you're thinking, it's another day. Now I must say though, Dean is looking very cool, calm and collected. Now, there was a picture this morning in the church, but this morning in the house was something else entirely. Picture the scene, Dean sat at his table, trying to eat a bacon sandwich with his mum rubbing his back. But we got there in the end and he's here and he's done a fantastic job. But ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to direct your attention to the bridesmaids who are looking absolutely fabulous today. Where's Kellyanne gone? Is Dan gone as well? And for the ushers, I would also like to say thank you very much for them as well. I know that through rehearsals, managing to point people left and right was not obviously an easy task for them, but they've done splendidly. When Dean first asked me to be his best man, I was absolutely honoured. I mean, it really was like really special occasion for me. But then I kind of got thinking, well, I've never done anything this responsible before, so what is he actually doing asking me? But I'm really glad that you did, so thank you very much for that. I've actually known Dean all my life. For those who don't know, we were only born one day apart. That was some 30 years ago now, and we've been mates ever since. Our friendship began at a very, very young early age. As small children, we would sit together in the back seat of a car while our mothers learned to drive in the front. Now at this time, Imam and Sandra seemed to be very popular with the local police, in such incidents as running red lights and parking on double yellows. Now, for some reason, they never actually managed to get a ticket, and I think that was because of two screaming, crying children sat in the back. But anyway, Dean, I think we've kind of realised where your nervous disposition began. Growing up with Dean over the years, it has become apparent that we do share a lot of things in common, and we have got very, very similar personalities. Now, I'd like to say that we are extremely confident guys, that we hung out with the cool kids at school, and that we were really popular with the ladies. But unfortunately, that isn't true. We were both massive Star Wars geeks. Being cool to us meant sitting in the shade, and as far as talking to the ladies, we were useless. I remember being sat in a nightclub with Dean one night, and he just turned to me and muttered, "We may as well have brown paper bags on our heads." But anyway, he's blossomed since then, bless him, and he's managed to snare himself a real beauty. Now, in saying all that, I did actually look up to Dean, not because of his height issues, but because he was always the one who kind of stood out a little bit. He always went that extra mile, and he tried to strive for things. Now, a good example of this is when we used to work at the co-op together. He was the first guy, junior guy might I add, to get the honorary role of working on the kiosk at the front of the store, while the rest of us sat on the checkouts, or if your name was John Lewis, swept the floors out the back. Now I remember one day, as I was just swimming along, minding my own business, thinking, Dean's come along, hasn't he? He's done really well for himself, you know, he's out there, he's doing really good, he's got so much responsibility. Anyway, that was before a little voice came over the tannoy, announcing 2 for 1 on packs of body foam. Eventually, as we grew up, as what happens to most young males, alcohol affected our life. And it was there and then that I realised Dean has toilet issues. Whenever he has too much to drink, he forgets what one looks like. And past incidents have included relieving himself all over a widescreen TV. But my personal favourite is the time he was caught stood at the end of his parents' bed in the early hours of the morning, lifting Ken's feet up and down. When asked, "What the are you doing?" he simply replied, "I'm trying to get the toilet seat up there." Now all I can say is I hope he washed his hands that night. From then on it was into university years, and Dean decided to become a bit of a fashion guru. At this point, he started designing his own clothes, and he even started straightening his own hair. Now he's got a lovely IT job. He no longer has to design his clothes. He can buy his fabulous ones. And as far as straightening his hair goes, I think that should say. Now, it's a customary thing for the best man to talk about Dean's past conquests, his girlfriends, all the lovely ladies he's met on holiday. But before the speech he said it was, "Would you not?" Which, to be honest, I can agree with. Anyway, I managed to cut the speech short by 15 seconds. Instead, I want to talk a little bit more about how Dean and Kay met, but this is the real story. It was that classy establishment called Crocs at the top of Chesley Street. Bottom of Chesley Street, sorry. Bottom. And apparently when he first locked eyes onto the lovely Kay, he just stood there, still in his tracks. Now some people might say that's Crocs' notoriously sticky carpets, but to me, I believe it was because he locked eyes on the girl he was going to marry. Anyway, I myself wasn't there that night. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting Kay. That was a little short time afterwards. But when I did, it was obvious how perfectly suited she was for Dean. After all, she is a primary school teacher. But now that I've known Kay for some time, I can't see why Dean is so smitten. I mean, she's gorgeous, she's bright and bubbly, she's just lovely. I mean, I suppose this morning in the church speaks volumes. There she was, sat there glowing, smiling away, while Dean thought, you know, he was going to have a sentence handed down to him. And whenever I pop round, she's always the first one to offer up a cup of tea and tell me a few little stories about her chaos children that she teaches on a day-to-day basis. So Kay, I just want to personally say thank you for making me feel very welcome. Thank you very much. Now, I know you've been living with Dean for quite a while, and you've kind of got most bases covered, but growing up with him over the years, I've kind of got a couple of pointers for you. And don't worry, this isn't meant to make you feel uncomfortable. You'll see to that later on tonight. Number 1. After watching a really scary movie, Dean will require you to stand at the bottom of the stairs just to watch God. Now it's advisable, as he's halfway up the stairs, don't turn the light out. Number 2, don't keep asking him to try some of his gluten-free delights, especially when you've just polished up a cream donut yourself. It won't go down well. And last but not least, don't ask him to hold anything important. if we're going off this morning's service. Anyway, on behalf of everybody here, I would like to thank Dean and Kay for allowing us to be involved in this beautiful day. I know that you have both put tremendous effort into the planning of this wedding, and I can only hope that apart from this speech, it's lived up to your expectations. So, personally, I would like to offer you both the very best wishes for the future. I'm sure it's going to be a great one. So, ladies and gentlemen, can you please stand, raise a glass to the happy couple, Mr. and Mrs. Tippett. Cheers.
Tea and coffee while we prepare the room for this evening's entertainment. Thank you.